One thing that I feel like is always helpful is a baby monitor. The one that we got is the Hey Baby one, and we haven't had any issues. And to be honest, I think the baby monitors were something that I didn't really do as much research in, because I don't know that I need more features aside from just being able to see my baby and being able to see her at night specifically. That was a big one. What I added to the registry was the one that has 2 cameras. It's the same exact one, just has 2 different channels, and it's hopefully gonna help me to be able to keep track of both Jude and baby Jonah. If you are planning on having your baby sleep outside of your room, or if you have an upstairs and a downstairs, I think that those are super helpful. And this is, I feel like, an essential, especially at the beginning, like during the newborn phase, and it's those glow in the dark pacifiers, because in the middle of the night, if your baby pops it out, you want to be able to find it, and if you guys are in the dark, it's so much easier. So make sure you add one of those onto your registry if you haven't already. The other thing that I wanted to mention on here was the Velcro swaddles. It's just such a time saver to just be able to, you know, snap them in, and then in the morning just take them right out. And plus, I love like their little newborn stretch. It's the best. I would recommend you add some Velcro swaddles if that's something that you're planning on doing, is swaddling your baby. In my experience, it does help them sleep better. I am due in March and Jude was born in January, and I feel like because of the way that the weather has been lately, it's still going to be cold by the time that I deliver this baby. Taking that into consideration, I feel like every mama who's gonna be delivering in spring or winter, you need those long sleeve zip up, what are they called, sleep in plays. That's basically what Jude lived in. For me personally, I feel like those made doctor's visits a lot easier, because usually when you have your doctor visits with your babies, they have to get undressed at the beginning, and it's just easier to just have one piece of item to put back on them instead of 3 or whatever that might look like. Personal preference, I'm going to make sure we have enough of those for baby number 2. And like I said, we are going to be doing formula, so we are going to be needing bottles. The only reason that I'm putting this on here, because I feel like most people know that they need to get bottles, is because you need to be conscious of the fact that there are nipples for the bottles that have different flows, and I didn't realize that until like Jude was like 2 months maybe. So the bottles that we're going to go with are the bottles that I felt like worked best for Jude, and most people use these bottles. It's the Dr. Brown anti-colic bottle, and I put a few of those sets on my registry, as well as a few of the nipple sizes, just to make sure that we're covered. You're obviously going to need diapers. We are going with the disposable diapers. Right now, the brand that we like and the brand that we've liked for a long time with Jude is the Huggies. But at the beginning, she was in Pampers mainly. Of course, we used whatever people bought for us. We kept her in Pampers for most of the time and we never had any issues. But now she's in the little movers. So I added some Pampers and I added some Huggies on there, and we'll just go off of those. As far as the wipes go, personally, I like the water wipes. I don't like the Costco wipes because I feel like they're too dry, but we buy the Costco wipes because we can save a lot of money with those. But I put a few of the water wipes on our registry. And then for diaper rash cream, our favorite has been the Aquifer, the baby Aquifer ointment, just the clear one. We use that for everything, and Jude has really bad eczema. So now if we start to see her getting like eczema patches before we have to apply any eczema ointment, we try to treat it with the Aquifer ointment, and it always helps. And so we're sticking with that as our holy grail for rashes and everything, because they've also really helped her through some really hard rashes. I also want to mention that you want to be conscious of the water that you use. We would buy gallons of distilled water or distilled baby water. Sometimes you forget in all of the chaos, so we would just boil water, and that's what we would use for our bottles. There's 2 things that I wanted to mention on here that I feel like every mom is going to need for those newborn days. This is by preference, because I know lots of moms who don't do this, who thrive off of it. But if you're like me and you really like to just have like a routine or some sort of plan to follow to not feel like everything is in disarray all of the time, I would just say to do some research on wake windows and what those are and how you can use wake windows to help with your baby's sleep. I swear by them. I know lots of moms swear by them. However, I think that for me at the beginning, I was so rigid about it that it was more harmful than helpful, because I was like, oh, well, her wake window's about to be up and we're not home, we have to get home, blah, blah, blah. And it was just so much more stress than I needed. So I would just recommend you do research on wake windows, but you're also flexible and you also understand that your baby is not always going to follow what you set, like whatever plan you set for them. But it's still good to have something to go back to if you need it. But of course, that is your decision. I just feel like for me, it was really helpful once I learned about wake windows. But I also know lots of moms who just kind of let their babies sleep when they want to sleep, and that works best for them. Maybe you can do some research and see if that's something that works best for you. Lastly, in the essentials list, I think that you need to have a lot of grace. And whether your mama, your dada, whoever is watching this video, just remember to extend a lot of grace, because you can buy all of the things that are recommended online, the best products like I did when I was a first-time mom, and your baby can not like any of them. Your baby can like the cheaper version. Your baby can like something made completely different than what you saw online. Just remember that nobody is a better parent for that baby than you are, and nobody's gonna know your baby better than you. Sometimes you have to stop thinking about the book and think about the baby. That was a piece of advice that I got from my therapist at one point. You can buy all of the perfect things and your baby can still not like them, and it's okay, because they're little beings who are brand new to this world, and it's no fault of their own. They're just little beings trying to survive. Just give yourself a lot of grace, give your baby lots of grace, and give your partner lots of grace. If you have any questions on any items that I listed below, or you have any questions about anything else, please make sure to leave it down below in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.